Because they're used to having people different forms, so I had to. Why isn't this work? I've never used this before. Oh, well, maybe I better open this. We just bought this for our group because our one of them failed. Our camera failed. We taped everything and put it on YouTube.
Well, they needed this. These pictures are this line. Right.
That's where they're going to mess up. Look at this blue. This is where they're going to cut the whole thing and wreck it.
They could.
Yeah, look. That's where all the patterns are. That's the most important part.
So what they could this for?
Because they don't like, they want to ruin everything. That's what they've been trying to do all along. Ask them about it when they give a presentation. Say, why are you going to try to water line? Yeah, but you don't need a big pit. The whole thing about this technology is to go underneath it, you know, without wrecking it. That's what Kathy's been doing for the last couple of years, and they still want to insist on wrecking it.
So all these blue squares?
Yeah, all the blue things.
So it's like in every intersection.
Like what? Miss Sheila.
I don't have.
The Congresswoman had admitted to come here and have a meeting here at the church. As you know, we're striving to get something done out here as it relates to the brick streets, and not something done, but get the work done that should have been done a long time ago. And I am asking, if you will, as Congresswoman come and start presiding, that we will give her the undivided attention, keep everything focused and centered on what we're here for. We're here for the Brick Street project. So that's all that we would be about today. Anything else that we have to do, we can do it at another time. If at any times while the meeting is going on, there's an interruption, I'm going to stand.
Okay, great. Great. Thank you very much. This is the ongoing meeting that we have been having with our task force on our brick project. Let me thank Reverend Samuel Smith, who has been a dynamic leader and host for us. We're glad to be hosted here in, if you will, Fourth Ward. I have traveled around in the district, and we're doing some projects here that are very important. And this brick project is very important. This is really part of continuing monitoring of this community and the combination of the new and the old. It's a positive approach. We're delighted to be working with the civic clubs as well as working with the task force, and we're very grateful for that. So without further ado, let me, Mike, thank you for being here. Let me thank the community task force members for being here. Please sign in, and we're going to listen to Eric's presentation and have a good discussion and be able to move this along, and not alone, but along, and come to a positive resolution. It is a committee that I set up. I think it is an effective way to reach out to the community. And Mike, thank you for working with us. We're going to do this periodically on problem solving, and I think we can do it because this is an eclectic community, and it is one that has great vitality, great history, and great people. If I might, may I have you applaud yourself, because they're great people in this great historic Freedmen town. Thank you so very much. And so with that, I'll yield to you, Eric. Thank you, and you can come, and I think they can hear you.
Well, actually, let me speak up first. When we met last, I guess it was
Do me a favor and come to the
all right.
front.
All right.
Let them see your face and not your back.
This is going back into April when Carter and Burgess produced their first study of Main Street for both the sanitary sewer and the water line. After reviewing the plans, I wrote a letter on behalf of the task force asking some questions. The beginning of that was to apply the city now saying that the drinking methods are a viable alternative. But hopefully it's answered on tweaking it and minimizing the impact. Congressman, before you got here, Mike has prepared a new set of concepts that we were discussing discuss it. So I think it's probably appropriate for him to go through and talk about what's changed between that initial study and this one.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. And good afternoon, and thank you, Congresswoman, for calling this together, and thank you, Dr. Smith, for hosting us. I'll be relatively brief because I really want to hear from you, but some of you may feel some frustration because each time we come, well, this has changed. Well, it keeps changing. That is kind of the nature of our business. I hope it's changing for the better, and it changes kind of every few days sometimes as we get smarter and get more and more. So let me try to outline a couple of things that have changed here recently. First off, we have been busy. We've mapped in some detail all of the surfaces of the streets, Andrews and Wilson. We've also begun to identify these green dots, and you may not be able to see those from where you're sitting, but you can come up and look at them. Those are the places where we have to make a connection to an existing water line in a home. And that's a challenge for us, and it requires a boring or an excavation of some sort. The good news is that in most of those cases, that work is being done outside the brick section. So, the biggest change that I want to call to your attention in recent days is that we've had the opportunity to look in some detail at the condition of the sanitary sewer. You remember originally, as conceived, this project was going to dig up the street, put in a new water line and a new sewer line, and then come in and put down a new street surface. We've modified that concept now, and one of the things we felt it was important to look at is what is the real condition of the sewer line. And let me be clear, just so there is no question about the water line. I think we've heard from a number of residents about the problems they have with water pressure, water quality from those old water lines. No question the water line, I think, has to be replaced. But the sewer line is not quite the same situation. We have, and have been very successful over the last number of years, developed techniques to rehabilitate sewers in place. We can go in using lining techniques, pipe bursting techniques, and not dig up the street. We've done this all over Houston. And in fact, as we reviewed our records, we have actually used that technique on some of the sewers in this project breach already. So as we inspected, we ran a TV camera through all of the sewers here, we found the sewer to be in reasonably good shape. And so we've now re-examined the need to dig up and put in a new sewer. That saves a lot of excavation, not only in the placement of the sewer, but in the connections to the individual sewers. So we think that's all good. So one major change in this project scope now is that, except for a very, very small segment of some lateral streets off of Wilson, but actually not really even along Andrews and Wilson Street, there are a couple of streets we observed coming right in here on Robin and Saulnier. We're going to put in a new sewer there because that sewer is badly collapsed. Otherwise, throughout the project length, we're in great shape on sewers. So the good news is then we don't have to dig up for the sewer, which can be very disruptive, or for the connections. We spent a lot of time looking at the location of the water line and how we could bore in and minimally disrupt it. I will tell you, as I've told a few folks already, I am not 100% pleased yet with the layout of the board. So you can see here, looks like a recent college graduate came in and put them every 100 feet. And the computer is very easy to do that. I think we'd be a little more sophisticated than that. Could we put a boring pit, say, in some of the intersections and then work back to the center of the street and not have as many borings, try to move our bore pits, and we have in some cases been able to move our bore pits into areas that are not brick. I think we can do more of that because that's the objective, is to minimally affect the brick. Now I will tell you one question. I don't like to bring questions, but there are questions that arise. One that has arisen in our design process is this, you can see it pretty prominently in a number of the pictures, this concrete strip that is prominent in a good bit of the street.